All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm here joined by Nolan Kelly today.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up, Nolan? 12-game slate. You excited?
I'm ready. I'm
The
ready.
Ice
It's the
show.
biggest one we've had in
I'm
a while,
here
right?
joined. Yeah, no kidding. I was looking back just on Fantasy Cruncher Rewind. We haven't had a 10-plus game slate on a weekday for like 3.5 weeks. So this is kind of a bit of a foreign thing for us as of late, with the NHL schedule being so uneven, I guess is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Anyways, it should be a fairly interesting slate. Just tons of spots all over the place. And I'm sure a bunch of line changes you have to talk about. It looks like you just posted your line change article. Is that correct?
Yeah, it just came out. Lots of stuff going on
All right.
today.
Do
I'm
you
sure
want
a lot of people are up on it. It's not a lot of secret stuff, nothing crazy, but still like some interesting strategic things to consider for tonight with so many game time decisions, which is going to kind of go, I think, a lot into like how you're approaching this slate will depend on how you want to approach a lot of these game time decisions.
Yeah. So we've got a weird thing going on in chat right now. Anyways, 12 games on the slate tonight. Anything as far as ownership goes that you want to talk about right off the bat, Nolan?
I don't know. Like, what do you think the top owned lines are going to be? Like, I personally immediately gravitated when I opened this morning or last night was to like Nashville 1, Washington 1, and I think that was kind of it. Maybe a little bit of Pittsburgh as well. I think Washington 1 might get the most ownership. And then, like, as the day went on, I kind of, with Colorado getting reunited, I sort of thought they might steal a little bit of that ownership as well. Also, really am curious to see where Montreal is owned, but I think they'll probably be very popular given Anaheim's recent struggles. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of hoping Colorado 1 flies under the radar, and my guess is Washington 1 is the highest owned.
Oh, Washington 1. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we haven't actually talked much about the slate, so it'll be interesting to go through and get your take on stuff. But yeah, I think Washington will be in the top 5 or 6 maybe. But
yeah. You don't think they're number 1?
I don't know that they're going to be number 1. But like, I think Tampa's going to get some ownership depending on what goes on with Point. I think Winnipeg at home with a big total. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's another thing with Tampa though, right? Like, it's like people will be possibly hesitant to roster that line because we don't know what's going on with Point, right? So that should lower the ownership a little bit.
Yeah,
I would assume.
That could be how it shakes out. Colorado 1 always gets ownership, and especially now that they're back together. But you've also got McDavid. You've got the Blackhawks going into Edmonton. The Blackhawks have somehow scored a bunch of goals as of late. A lot of it on the power play. Their power play has just been ridiculous.
And that top line's been great.
Yeah, like underlying numbers wise, they haven't been great, but like results wise, they've been getting there quite a bit. So we'll see if people go right back to them tonight. You want to get going here on this 12 gamer? We'll go through and talk about each game, some more than others. There's maybe only 1 or 2 viable lines on a big slate for some of these games. So we'll try to just move it along for those, and the more interesting ones with the bigger totals, we'll probably talk a couple minutes more than the others. All right, so we've got the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins, 2.5 implied total for the Islanders, 3 for the Bruins. Robin Lehner expected to go against Tuukka Rask. Boston 1 here, Nolan. What are we doing with them?
Yeah, you sounded like in our little chat before we went on air that you're kind of high on them. They weren't really coming up for me. That just because I'm sort of off taking teams against the Islanders because they have the number 1 goals against in the entire NHL. But what are you seeing that you like about them?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any like specific matchup that I'm like, yeah, you got to jam in Boston 1. But I just think you see the low total, like you see some of these teams with huge home totals like 3.5 and even more. And people will go to the top lines in those games, and I'm not sure a ton of people are going to go to Boston 1. So as far as like the lines that are around 20K or above that, they're grading out as one of the better values. And I haven't been targeting the Islanders really at all, but I just think on a big slate it's going to be pretty easy to get overweight on Boston 1. So I'm actively trying to do that. Whenever I can get them low owned, they've kind of disappointed people. Maybe left a sour taste in some people's mouths. I've played them lately and they haven't gotten there. but I'm really not worried about the Nelson line. I'm not worried about the Barzal line at even strength either. So whichever line they go up against, I think they're just going to have a very clear advantage, and maybe there aren't a ton of lines like that tonight. So just by default, I'm pretty high on Boston 1 tonight.
Yeah, that seems smart. Like just because like they're not going to get any ownership, especially on DraftKings where they're going up against you got all those red 1, 2, and 3s beside the numbers for the Islanders. So yeah, I think you'll probably get them at like 5 to 7% as a line.
Yep. Oh, what's up, Homer Cleese? How are you doing, man? Yeah, we've got the GOAT in chat. Just popped in.
Nice.
But yeah, you got any other lines you want to talk about in this game?
No, not much. I'm not high on the Islanders. Not really high. I think like DeBrusk is a pretty decent price point. If you need a one-off, you can kind of throw him. He's on the power play. His price has gone down. So like I'm probably not going to roster him. And the only other note I had is that Boston 4 and the Islanders 4th line, both getting a lot of ice time lately. Both of them, I think, led their respective teams in 5-on-5 ice time the last game out. They were about 27% share. So something to consider. I don't think you need to go deep down to a 4th line tonight, but yeah, something to at least be aware of. The Islanders 4 is always kind of intriguingly good for a 4th line.
Bergeron 1,000th game narrative tonight as well. So there you go. Even
How
more
has he
Boston
played 1,000 games? That's nuts. I feel old.
What is he, like 30, 31? How old
yeah,
is he?
Right? Like that's got to be one of the quickest to 1,000 games.
He's been around since I've been following, so it doesn't shock me. But I kind of lose track of how old these guys are just because I've recently started watching more and more hockey in the last few years. So missed a lot of the early parts of some of these guys' careers. But I think he's in 86. Yeah. All right. Anything else here before we move it on? We don't really need to talk about goalies all that much tonight, I don't think, unless there's an obvious one you want to talk about. Rask seems okay for 7,800.
Yeah, Rask is decent.
Yeah. I rarely ever have any strong takes on goalie unless there's one that's mispriced. So usually just try to correlate, especially on a big slate. You're looking for the win. I'm not trying to predict who's going to get a shutout on a 12-game slate. I'm sure there's going to be a couple slate breakers, and I just hope I have some exposure to them.
Yeah.
All right. Don't love the defenseman there either. Krug would be the only one I'm really targeting on Boston.
And Nick Leddy.
Yeah. Got to mention Nick Leddy. Down to 4,300, just an absolute bargain. All right, Minnesota and Buffalo. We've got a 2.9 implied total for both teams here. Devin Dubnyk expected to go against Linus Ullmark. And talk about these new Buffalo lines here, Nolan.
Yes, we got Eichel with Okposo and Sheary. We got Middlestat with Palmanville and Skinner. We got Evan Rodriguez with Sam Reinhart and C.J. Smith. So all 3 of the big guys have been broken up. They are still together on the power play, one with Middlestat, and then Rasmus Dahlin is also up on the power play instead of Ristolainen. And then new lines for the Minnesota Wild as well. So Eric Stahl is centering Granlund and Zucker, is that right? And then Koivu's with Coyle and Parise. And then Rask with, how do you say his name? Kunin.
That's what they say on the broadcast, at least.
Kunin and Greenway. So a little bit more condensed, kind of opposite directions for both teams. A little bit more condensed talent for the Wild. A lot more spread out for Buffalo.
Yep. Perfect. So you summed it up really well. For me, for Buffalo, it doesn't really do much for me, any of these lines. Like you lose the power play correlation for Eichel's even strength line mates on the power play with Okposo and Sheary on the second unit. I think some people will gravitate towards the Middlestat Skinner Palmanville line. That line I don't really like. I don't like targeting Minnesota, and especially not with lines that we don't really have any data on. I wouldn't expect any of these lines to be great for Buffalo. Maybe I'm just off base here, but the only line I'm really looking at here, and it's probably going to be no shock, is the Stahl, Zucker, Granlund line. I love when those 3 are together. They've got really awesome numbers going back to about this time last year. Over 15 high danger chances, 4 per 60 this season. They all play in the power play. And more importantly, you just get Koivu away from playing with Zucker and Granlund. And you put a better center, at least offensively a better center, in between them. So that's the line I like in this game. And,
both of those grading out, or sorry, not both. That line grading out really well for Osmo as well. That price point on those guys is just so cheap. So I think, Stahl actually makes that line a little bit pricier. He's obviously way more of he's just like Koivu's a liability on there, and he's not. So, yeah, I really like that line tonight. I don't think it's going to be highly owned. Do we have? Are they all on the power play together? 2 or 3 on the power play together. So
yeah, they've been switched up so much without Dumba there, but
and they've got young Bobby Orr, Brad Hunt on that power play too. So apparently, Jared Spurgeon's never going to see that power play one time. I mean, not a great matchup for them on the road in Buffalo, but Buffalo's been giving it up lately. So if in large GPPs, I think I love that play a lot. I think it's going to be, you're probably going to get them sub 5% owned, and could be a nice filler stack with some higher price lines.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. Or if you're going double mid tier and trying to jam in like Burns or someone like that, which I definitely am trying to do tonight. All right.
Big on Burns.
Yeah. Anything else in this game? Goalies or anything? Dubnyk 7,400?
No, I don't think I'm gonna have too much of either goalie.
Yeah, I feel like I did get Dubnyk wrong more than like any other player, but 7,400, and I like Minnesota's top line, so I'm gonna be on some Dubnyk tonight. He's gonna be a top 5 exposed goalie for me tonight, so I'll say that, and then we can kind of move on here.
Sorry, you're on who?
Dubnyk.
He's one of your top 5?
He's one of my top 5, exposed. So
interesting.
Yeah, just the price. He's a good goalie when he's got his head straight, and he's been okay this last little stretch. So yeah, I'm digging that Dubnyk price. So Steve's on him as well, it looks like.
All right. Minnesota giving up just no high danger chances as well. Right. They're second best in the NHL on the road, 82 chances against in their last 10 games. So shutting it down defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yep, perfect. All right, let's go to St. Louis and Florida. We've got a 3 implied total for the Blues, 2.9 for the Panthers. Jordan Binnington going up against James Reimer. Anything as far as news and notes go here, Nolan?
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what you have to say about this, because it's a fascinating game, because I think that St. Louis 1 has been so amazing lately, and they're probably not going to go. They're probably going to go a little bit under-owned. And then like I would expect, are they going to hard match with will Barkov hard match with the St. Louis 1?
That's how I thought it was going to go. Yeah. So I think differently, but
so that line, like all 3 of those, Dadonov, Huberdeau, and Barkov, have just been getting lit up lately. They're all in the bottom 25 in the league in scoring chances against and high danger chances against. I don't know what's going on there, because normally they're known for being pretty responsible defensively. So St. Louis 1 is intriguing. The only thing that might scare me off a little bit is just that Reimer's a little bit hot right now. But yeah, I think I'm going to try and be overweight on St. Louis 1, and maybe even like sprinkle in some St. Louis 2 tonight as well.
Yeah, so St. Louis 1 was really the one that I like here. I don't know how much I'm going to get to them, just because there's so many games in the slate, and I'd rather defer to some of these home teams, but I think you're going to see pretty low ownership on St. Louis 1. And the reasons for playing them really are, first of all, they've got amazing offensive numbers in their short sample together. It's only about 40 minutes, but still generating so many quality chances. And, they're not going to stay at that pace, but still, they're going to be able to generate chances here. I'm hoping they get the Barkov matchup. Barkov, Huberdeau, and Dadonov, 156-minute sample. They're giving up over 28 scoring chances against per 60, 15.5 high danger chances against per 60. So if they're stuck on St. Louis 1 the whole game, I really think that's an advantage for St. Louis 1 here, based on how well they've played together. So far, you get top power play for O'Reilly and Tarasenko, and they're not that expensive when you factor in Schen's $4,700 price tag. So
yeah, exactly. O'Reilly's priced up, but that's $7K on DK is probably going to scare some people off. So
yeah,
in a way, I kind of like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think this could be like one of the it's going to be just interesting to see what they're owned at, because I think they're an intriguing play for GPPs and will fly under the radar, and it's more of a advanced stats kind of a thing rather than just sort of layperson. So even in lower priced, lower stakes tournaments, I think they'll go even lower owned.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. So as a MME play, if you're playing 150 in that $8, or if you're playing 100, I plan on doing, or at least I have reserved right now, or you're playing the 88-cent mini max, that would be a line I would try to get overweight on, especially if you don't like some of these other lines that are super expensive. You get a little bit of a discount here on St. Louis 1. Someone just said, Dane just said, Trocheck matched Vegas one last game. Yes, they did, but Vegas, I think they got a pretty balanced top six with Pacioretty and Talk.
What's Vegas won really?
Right. Like, so they had Carlson, Marchessault with Zykov that game. So I don't know. Like, it's always tough to tell with Vegas, especially these days when they've got such a solid top six. Whereas, like, this is a very clear top line, and you look at what Florida did. 2 games ago. So this was after the break. This was on Friday, I believe, against Nashville. Barkov line saw the most time against Nashville won. So their clear top line, it was Barkov going up against them. So,
and that's usually what they do, right?
Yeah, so. That's usually what they do, even when Trocheck's been healthy. So I would expect them to do that here. If I'm wrong, I still don't think it's bad to play St. Louis 1 at all. Certainly a winnable matchup against the Trocheck line either way.
Yeah.
Anything else here?
You on Florida at all?
I want to so my numbers like this top line just from like a player share perspective. These prices
and just like a price point too, right?
Especially it's just a value thing, I suppose. So I'm gonna limit them, but I guess I'm gonna have shares of Florida 1 here, even though I don't really like the matchup. It's just a really tough price to pass on for a line. You get full power play correlation. They're at home. If they want to avoid the matchup that I think is the toughest, they could do that. I just don't know if they're sharp enough to make that call here. So
yeah, I agree.
All right.
Goaltending, Reimer, Binnington.
It's pretty gross both ways, I think. Let me see if I got either of these guys.
I don't mind like a Binnington correlation play, but I'm not super excited on either one.
The only thing I got from this game on my last crunch was 2% Binnington. That's it.
Yeah.
No Reimer. So
let's go. We got the most exciting game on the slate coming up here. Let's go.
Yeah. For those following along at home, we've got the Kings and the Devils. 2.5 implied total for the Kings, 3 for the Devils. Jack Campbell expected to go against Keith Kincaid. Kings on the back-to-back. And now we're just getting word that Jeff Carter looks to be questionable for this game.
So, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have much here, just that Zajac is back and on line 2, it looks like. And so that would mean Zaka will move back down to his role on the third line. And then Will Butcher is back up on the power play 1, and Severson's down on the power play 2. I think they switched it up last game. So Butcher's decently priced. You know, it's his usual kind of cheap price. Maybe he gets a goal, maybe he doesn't, but that's about the only upside there. And then, on the other side, Kings played last night, so no morning skate today. I would expect if Carter doesn't go, everything will be the same. They won last night, so yeah.
Yeah.
Behind the LA3, we were on LA a little bit last night. Were you on LA3?
I had
LA2
shares
on LA2.
I did have a couple shares of LA3 though. They did sneak in with the expensive lines, but LA2 they did okay. I think Toffoli had the game winner. Was it Carter that had the game winner? I don't know. So whatever. Got LA right one time this entire season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not confident in picking players from the LA Kings on a 12-game slate. Yesterday was 4 games. That's a little bit different.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's just like, do either of these teams have the ability to break the slate? I honestly do not know. And it's not like you're getting crazy good prices here from the Devils. Johansson's 4K top power play, but he just doesn't really do much. Like, the guy I really like is Palmieri, but 6,300.
He's not been doing much lately either.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just off this game entirely. I think it's going to be slow grind, low events. I think I have no shares of either side. So
yeah,
I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
All right. Anything else here? You like this New Jersey second line?
Me?
Yeah. Zajac back in.
I think like if you're gonna go there, you probably can. At least like LA is on back to back, starting Campbell. No Muzzin, so maybe they're like, kind of on the way down a little bit. But I'm still think it's going to be pretty low event game. I don't know. I'm just kind of not excited about rostering any Devils.
I hate just like seeing a low total game and kind of crossing it off, but I'm just not getting any exposure to this one. So if this is the game that beats me, if one of these stacks go off, Someone else is going to win all the money, and it's not going to be me.
Also, like New Jersey too is kind of priced up as well. Like Wood isn't, but Coleman is. So
yep.
Yeah. Zach. Oh, actually, Zach is pretty cheap.
4,800. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Zaka, you said.
Yeah. Sorry, Zajac, 4,800. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. I'm sure that most people will have the same sentiment here, but if you want to get New Jersey at 1%, you probably can.
Yeah, you guys can have that. I'll pass. All right, let's go to Carolina and Pittsburgh. We've got a 3 implied total for the Canes, 3.5 for the Penguins. Do you know who it's going to be for Carolina? Mrazek against Matt Murray is confirmed.
It seems to be it's probably going to be Mrazek. I don't think that's confirmed yet though. So okay. I would assume it's Mrazek. He just seems to be getting most of them, and they're not in back-to-backs. And then Murray for the Pens.
Sweet.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do we have any news and notes here?
Just that Malkin's going to miss another game for the Penguins, so they're going with the same line combinations they used last game, I think. So it's Bukestad with Kessel and Pearson, and then McCann with Hornqvist, and Simone's on the third line, and then looks like they move Rust up to the top line as well. So that's interesting because Rust was obviously killing it on Pittsburgh 1 for a while, so maybe that line gets going. I don't know. All 3 of those guys have been really good lately.
Yeah,
just like 5-on-5 chance generation.
Right. I like the Pittsburgh top line here. Big total. They're at home. They're probably going to go up against this Aho, Niederreiter, Williams line, and that line's been insane offensively so far. I mean, short sample, of course, but they've just been scoring goals. The underlying numbers look great. So I'm a little worried about Crosby here, but Rust at 4,600 and Gensel top power play for just 6,100 makes it okay. At least puts them in play for me. So they're not going to be like one of my highest exposed lines of the night. Right now I'm at like 8%. I think I'm pretty comfortable with that number. Whether I fall under, overweight, it's going to be somewhere around the field. So not taking a big stand on that line. I'd rather avoid the Crosby line if I could. So I don't think I'm continuing to roll with this Aho line for Carolina. And then that's really all I've got for this game. Are you going with the Pittsburgh 2s here?
I think I'll have a little bit of Pittsburgh 1 here. Yeah, I'm not super interested in Pittsburgh 2. Just Pittsburgh 1 just because I think that just for how well they've been playing. And then Carolina 1 might be a little bit of a sneaky play as well. They've been getting a huge ice time lately. They seem to be Carolina's kind of gone back and forth with their usage and rotating lines, and now this line looks like it's taken hold, and they got a 33% 5-on-5 share last game. And Pittsburgh, I can't remember. We were talking about Pittsburgh, they've been giving up a lot of chances lately, right? Or they were for a while. I don't know if that's tightened up a little bit lately, but you're going to get them at almost no ownership, and I don't hate that play, even though they're priced up.
Okay. I'm not getting to a lot here. Once again, just going to kind of scroll through and see if I'm getting anything outside of Pittsburgh 1. But
I think for a while there was a 10-game stretch where Pittsburgh was just awful, but it looks like their numbers are trending back up and they're kind of in the middle. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about? Am I making that up?
No,
Matt Murray was had a 970 save percentage and was keeping them in games.
Yeah, they've done that the last couple seasons where they go on these spurts where they're awful defensively and then they're really good for 20-game stretches, 15, 20-game stretches. So, I don't know. I mean, when you win a couple cups in a row, maybe you lose interest for a little bit.
Exactly, right?
The season,
I think that's part of it. They're trending up towards the end of the season. But
yeah, I thought this Bukestad line would rate out better. I thought I'd be getting more of them for me, but I guess with Malkin not there, it takes some of the lust away from Kessel here, and then Pearson is just kind of a throw-in for me. He doesn't really do much, so I got to project it really well. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like that either. So for me, it's Pitt 1 or nothing.
I think that's what it's going to be for me as well.
And then the advantage as well is you can always pair them with Murray because everyone likes to. We all like to take goalies against the Hurricanes.
Yep, I do like Murray. He's one of the goalies I will say I do have a lot of exposure to. I think he's my highest projected goalie. He's going to be one of my highest 2 owned goalies tonight.
Nice.
And then Letang at 6,600. I don't like Carolina's committed a bunch of penalties as of late. Actually, in January, they were second in the NHL in time shorthanded in 12 games. So
that's good to know.
Maybe not too bad of a matchup here for Letang, especially if you're going to Crosby and Gensel up top. But just as like a one-off, I'm finding the extra few $100s to get up to Brent Burns. Basically every time. So.
Yeah, I agree. And then for a punt play, I kind of like Ricola. Power play 2, he's been generating decent amount of chances, like top 20 in high danger chances and scoring chances in the NHL. Probably likely just because he's been on the ice with Crosby or Malkin, but he's got some offensive upside and he's like near the bare man, so he's one of my favorite punt play defensemen tonight.
All right, let's move it on. Let's go to Vancouver and Washington. We've got a 2.7 implied total for the Canucks, 3.7 for the Caps. Jacob Markstrom going up against Braden Holtby. Canucks on a back-to-back. Any changes you see here, Nolan?
Yeah, so you probably all saw that Edler faceplant last night. Didn't look pretty. Apparently, news just broke that he doesn't have any facial fractures, so that's good. But it looks like he won't be in tonight. He stayed overnight, so Alex Biega will probably draw in. That weakens the Canucks, in my opinion, because their defense is just awful as is. So more ice time for Goodbranson means more opportunities for whoever is facing Goodbranson. And then on the other side, Lars Eller is a game time decision. I think the leaning is that he's going to go today, but we will have to wait until line rushes for that one.
Yeah, so Eller would probably slot in between Yaskin and Conley. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's the same third line, and they may change that third line, but that's probably a pretty good guess.
Okay, not that it matters. I'm not playing Lars Eller tonight.
No, Lars Eller strictly 3-game slate.
Yeah,
plays.
Just looking at what Vancouver's done lately, last 10 games, they're third in scoring chances allowed. Per 60, they're top 5 also in Corsi against per 60, top 5 giving up. So they've just been bad. Like the high danger chances haven't been too bad lately, but with Edler not on the ice, like that's 25 plus minutes that they're missing from their best defender.
And they're on back-to-backs, and they're missing Berchi. They just have like I think they've overachieved a lot to this point in the season. So, I mean, Pettersson's obviously a game changer, but I don't know. Like I know we've been targeting the lines going up against the Capitals, but I think that this is a pretty prime spot for Washington bounce back. This is more like maybe narrative and gut, but I just think this is a smash spot for them. So I'm going to try and be overweight tonight, even though the field is going to be heavy on them.
Yeah, I'm usually kind of opposite of where the field's at on Washington when it comes to just like overall ownership. But here, I think I'm right with it. Maybe just in a different way. So the Backstrom line is awesome. They're one of my highest raw point lines. They're not up there with the Boston ones and the Colorado ones. And they're not priced like that, so you don't have to necessarily make that decision because you do get extra salary with Washington 1. But I don't love their even strength matchup. They're probably going to see the Pettersson, Besser, Goldobin line, which has actually been pretty low event so far.
Is that the top line?
Yep.
You're saying?
Yeah. So I would imagine they're going to match up with Pettersson and Besser, and then that leaves the Kuznetsov line to go up against Horvat, Levo, Schaller, which I don't really know what to think of them, but I know the Kuznetsov line has been just playing at an absurd pace so far, just generating a ton, giving up a ton, but it doesn't matter if you're giving up a ton if you're generating just as much, at least for DFS purposes. So I'm all over the Kuznetsov line, Kuznetsov, Verena, and Tom Wilson, as you see on your screen. I just think they're priced fairly. I think they're going to get the better of the two matchups, and hope they get it done at even strength. And I really love them as a filler.
And even like Lars Eller, if he plays, also giving up a ton of chances. 6th most high danger chances against over his past 10 games. So this could be a high event game. It's going to be really interesting strategically to see how it plays out, because on the other side, I'm going to guess that Jay Beagle and Sutter just get a ton of ice time tonight, and like the Canucks do everything in their power to just slow this down. And so that could mean, like, if they're successful, that could mean that this game disappoints. I just don't know. My inkling though is just towards Washington. So
I am bringing it back, and it's actually not with the Pettersson line. So I am playing both sides of this game. You mentioned the Sutter line. They're in there, like when I'm trying to jam in Boston 1 and Colorado 1, they're going to be a line that I get to a little bit because you can get solid defensemen if you go to them. like there's one line that's around their price tag that I'm gonna have way more of, but they're right up there as like a complete punt line that I think does have I don't know if upside's the right word, but like they could get there in the event that you get the monster slate breaking performance from Colorado 1 or Boston 1.
How about the Jay Beagle revenge narrative?
Oh God, someone else can have that narrative.
I bet you can see some ice time tonight. I'll bet you they try and use him a lot.
Is Pettersson playing? Homer, please ask.
Yeah. Why wouldn't he? Oh, he left last game, but he came back, so I don't see why he wouldn't be playing.
Kuznetsov is a bit in the doghouse with the coach at the moment. Well, after his hat trick tonight, he'll probably be out of the doghouse. So Pettersson didn't really get hurt. Nasty fall he was banged up. Okay. So maybe
Kuznetsov played 20 minutes last game and 25 the game before that, so okay. I wouldn't stress about it. Coverage.
There was one I like Horvat as a one. Like I know he's overpriced, but yeah, I like him as a one-off a little bit. And then Hutton for 4K. Like if the Capitals do what the Capitals usually do, and that's take a lot of penalties and be bad on the kill. Like I think you're getting pretty good value from a guy like Hutton. So
yeah, that's true.
There's
and then he'll be. I guess Hutton will probably be on the power play 1.
Yep,
so.
That's what DFO has listed. That's what we have listed as well. So.
I just I worry about the Canucks defense. So I think we'll see. It's an intriguing matchup though. See a bunch of different could go a few different ways.
Yeah, for sure. What about defensemen? Other defensemen here mentioned Hutton. I don't want to talk too much about him, but how much Carlson are you into?
Yeah, I like Carlson in stacks. I think, but you're going up to Burns. You're just going to find that extra money.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit different, right? $700 difference that makes it a bit tougher, but
Carlson's getting a lot of minutes right now. 25 minutes a game. He's not shooting. I mean, he's shooting the puck at a decent rate, like 3.5 shots per over his past like 5. So. I like Carlson. I think he's good as a one-off or with stacking with Washington 1 because he sees pretty high correlation with them always.
Yeah. So the thing with Carlson is like he's my 3rd or 4th highest ranked defenseman, but he's like 1.5 points behind Burns. So it just I don't know. I'm not gonna have much of him tonight.
And then one I like as well. I've noticed this has worked a few times. You could try it out in GPPs. Switching Backstrom for Kuznetsov. You get a $700 price savings. They have the power play correlation, and like Backstrom can just have those games where it's like 1 shot, 1 assist, while the rest of the line goes off, and then you're sort of getting exposure to both lines. Not ideal, but you can try it out a few times. I've seen it work before.
Yep. Either of the goalies here you want to talk about?
I'm gonna have some Holtby. I think he's pretty strong candidate for a win tonight. So, and I think like. He's starting to maybe rebound from his form, from his pre-All-Star game form. So I think he's on the rise. I'm gonna have some. Yeah,
I think Holtby's okay. I'm not gonna end up over the field. I think he's gonna be kind of the guy that a lot of people go to in this over 8K range, and I'd rather.
And the problem is you don't even need to pay up to get over to like make a lateral move over to Rinne, who's like 100-point more favorite, minus 280 favorite or something. So
agreed, and just a better goalie, I think. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, next game.
Man, this is a big slate. We're like halfway through it. We got to go.
We're doing okay. We're doing okay for time. All right, we've got Anaheim and Montreal. We've got a 2.3 implied total for the Ducks, 3.2 for Montreal. Chad Johnson expected to go against Carey Price. Anaheim on the back-to-back. Are we expecting any changes here?
Just that Thomas Tatar is a game-time decision, so they think Matthew Pekka. Is that Michael Pekka's kid?
I have no clue.
He would probably go in for Tatar on the second line. And then we have the Montreal 3, who I know you like a lot, with getting if he is unable to go, you said they might move Lehkonen into the power play 1. So that's interesting. And then on the Ducks side, I don't think we have any changes. We'll have to see pregame line rushes, but it looks like they'll probably go with the same things they did last night during their 6-1 defeat. I'm expecting everyone to be on Montreal tonight. What's your take?
So I'm going to be on Montreal tonight. Maybe not in the traditional way that most people will. I think the top two lines are fine, especially if Tatar plays. Like the Domi line is perfectly fine. A little bit of a lack of correlation for the Danault line. I think they're going to get the tough, quote unquote, tough matchup if there is a tough one against the Ducks. The Getzlaf line has been okay so far with Perry back. I don't know. Maybe that's just a continuity thing. They just missed their old buddy Corey Perry. But I love Montreal 3 here. A couple of sharp people I've talked to today are on them as well. So you're going to get full power play correlation in the event that Tatar doesn't play. Then you're getting a fully correlated top power play line for like just over 12K. Or maybe, is it? Yeah, 12K. Or under 12K, sorry. I can't do math very well. But they would be fully correlated. If not, if Lehkonen is not on the power play, it's not a big deal for that price. They're going to get the Anaheim depth back-to-back. They take a bunch of penalties. They're not very good on the kill. I just don't know what's not to like about this Montreal 3 line. So that's going to be the one I'm most exposed to in this game.
Yeah. Does it worry you a little bit? Like, they don't generate a ton of chances. Like, they're all kind of individually sort of in that, like, 7 to 8 high danger chance. How are they as a line?
Oh, as a line, they're let's see. High danger chances, they're, like, average 11.1.
Yeah.
But I would put this at a very above average matchup. Like, just the shot generation when you're dealing with a short sample or short-ish, 70 minutes, 75 shot attempts per 60, let's see, 33 scoring chances. So I'm not that worried about the high danger chances. You don't need a ton of them, but you know they should be able to generate a lot of shots and scoring chances at the very least here. You just probably need one goal plus a little bit more to have them pay off here. So
yeah, and you know that they're not going to be owned as well. Most people gravitate towards Montreal 1, Montreal 2. I think that if Tatar is playing, because he's listed as a game time decision, that Montreal 2 line, like I noted in just my article the other day, I think we talked about it a little bit. Like Tom, our one of the site owners, has had some success, and he said that in GPPs he targets game time decisions sometimes because you know that's going to lower the ownership. We have a bunch of those tonight, and that could be another example where like Tatar is just getting no ownership in a pretty plus matchup on a decent line. So don't hate that if he goes.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Tom's the best at that, the late breaking news and reacting. So
yeah,
we talked about that. Was that on a show? I think that was on a show, right?
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Cool.
Probably don't need to go over too much, but it's just something to consider, especially if you're around your lineups tonight, because there's going to be upcoming games we're going to talk about a little bit here. There's going to be quite a few opportunities to get some late switches in and or make some changes to your lines that will create some unique lineups. Yep.
And then Weber is probably the guy that would correlate the best to Montreal 3. Or the guy you could play with any of the 3 lines, I suppose. I'm getting to Petrie more as a one-off. I've got him as a better value, so I kind of disagree with Osmo there, even though Weber's on the top power play unit. He's got him listed as a better value. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at someone for taking Weber over Petrie for $200 more. He plays in the top power play, I get it. But
Weber generally correlates pretty well with both 1 and 3, and not 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point there. Kulak GOAT. Why is Kulak the GOAT, Corsi? What do you know that I don't? He's 30. It's not even like he's free anymore. 3,300. What are you seeing there? Anyways, anything on the Anaheim side before we get out of this game?
No, I have no interest in anything Anaheim tonight. I'm done. Right. Done playing Anaheim for the rest of the year.
The only exposure I have to Anaheim is about 2 or 3 lineups out of 100 of this Getzlaf line.
Yeah, you might as well throw them in. If you're MMEing, throw them in 1 for sure.
I suppose. I would not get to them in 100 years if I was hand building, but that's the joy of MME, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Vegas Golden Knights and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yep, 3 implied total for Vegas, 3.5 for the Lightning. Marc-Andre Fleury and Andrei Vasilevsky here. And I think a game, as Homer Cleese would say, with a wide range of outcomes here. What do we know for news and notes? News and notes here, Nolan.
Just that Braden Point is another game time decision. I think they think he's going to go. If we were to guess, I'd probably say he's going to go, which would mean you would play with Johnson and Kucherov. If not, Stamkos would probably go on that line again. So you might have to wait until line rush this year to figure out exactly what's happening with the Bolts. And then Vegas looks to be the same as last game.
Yeah, so this one worries me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it all the time. I don't get to a lot of Tampa. When they're, when it's just a very, very obvious spot, I think that I do a little bit, but like I'm not getting to them here, even with Stamkos as on the top line with Kucherov and Palat, even with full power play correlation. So I don't know if I'm just missing something here, or maybe there's just lines that grade out better. There's a bunch of lines that grade out better for me, so I'm unintentionally fading this game. I'm not going to be shocked if Tampa is the reason I lose all my money tonight.
Vegas has been really good defensively on the road too. Like third least scoring chances for, or high danger chances for, second least scoring chances against over the last 10. So I think it's a smart fade. Tampa, I don't think they'll be too popular just because Vegas has the rep of being a good defensive team, but I'm not getting to a lot of them either. I'm not getting to a lot of either side of this game. I'm kind of operating under the assumption that it's going to be surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, but low scoring given the relatively decent offenses on both sides here.
Yeah, wonder if we've reached the fade Tampa studs half of the season like last year. Yep.
Did that happen last year?
I think they really slowed down maybe in the second half last year. I don't remember that off the top of my head. But every day runs together, it seems like, when you're doing shows. There's so much talent in this game, talent at the goalie position as well, especially with Vasilevsky here. So I'm just hoping this one stays quiet, kind of like maybe 2-1, 3-1 with an empty netter and everything's spread around. You're going to need a monster performance here from some line, assuming there's a few lines that go off. So I just think like Boston 1 and Colorado 1 are just in nuclear upside kind of spots, and I don't really see it with any line in this game, especially when you're going to have to pay way up for Stamkos and Kucherov here.
Yeah, I agree. The only real advantage to this game is that it's going to go under own because people don't know what's happening. So if you want to kind of wait and save that lineup, and then like you're going to be around your lineup tonight, you're probably going to be especially like if Point doesn't go, you get Stamkos and Kucherov in there, you're going to have a unique lineup for sure.
Yep.
Like own combination.
Yeah, so this one, you don't get the luxury of this starting right at lock time, so you're not going to know until after lock hits. If you want to stick around and make a bunch of Tampa 1 lineups with Stamkos in there, and then maybe swap some over to Point if he's in, that's probably an okay thing to do. Or if you just want to power play stack it, it's always okay to stack up Tampa's power play. But yeah, just not a bunch of interest in this game, either side. Defenseman, I do like Vasilevsky though at 8K.
Yeah.
All right, Arizona and Nashville. We've got a 2.2 implied total for the Coyotes, 3.3 for the Predators. I think this has dropped a little bit. Anyways, Calvin Pickard going up against likely Pekka Rinne. Arizona played last night. What do we have, if anything, on the Nashville side here for news and notes?
For Nashville, Kyle Turris is another game time decision, and if he's back, he'll probably take on his role on the second line between Smith and Fiala, and then Bonino would probably drop down to that third line. And then on the other side, Goligoski left last night's game. No word on if he'll play tonight, so Arizona could be down 2 defensemen tonight because Chychrun also hasn't made the trip. So, I initially liked. Did you say the total's down for Nashville?
I think it's just maybe it jumped down half a goal.
I'm seeing it at 3.9 right now.
3.9. Maybe our totals are just wrong. Let me check this quick.
Because I have it at opening at 3.8 and live at 3.9.
Interesting. All right. Maybe it's possible our totals are just wrong. Yeah, I think 3.9, 3.8, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of alarming if they all of a sudden just dropped a half of a goal. But
yeah, that doesn't usually happen unless someone's injured. Right?
Okay, so yeah, our totals look to be just a little bit off there. Yes, this total tanked. Wait, what's going on? It's dropped by the total overall, not Nashville's team total. I mean, if the total drops, then that's fine. But if it drops half a goal for one team, that's a little bit more concerning.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the one where, well, first of all, I really like Nashville 1. I would really like them a ton, more than I do if I had an inkling that they were going to go up against this Keller, Galchenyuk, Cousins line. They've played pretty high event, and the Johansson line usually matches up against opposing top competition, and that would be a really awesome even strength matchup for them. Power play, we know that Arizona is the best in the league at killing penalties, so that's a little bit concerning for them. But Nashville 1's not really priced up, I think, for what they bring to the table at even strength. They've just generated so many shots and scoring chances, so I think they can handle anyone. I think they could get there at even strength. I don't know that they're gonna need the power play. They're that kind of good, so I'm all over Nashville 1 here. I hope they go up against the Keller line. I don't know if anybody in chat has looked up what you think they're gonna do. I couldn't really figure it out, so right now I'm just hoping they go up against Keller, Cousins, Galchenyuk. What about you, Don?
Yeah, those two have been, we documented a lot. Yesterday, they've been terrible, right? They're both giving up both near the bottom of the league in scoring chances allowed and high danger chances allowed as individuals. So I haven't studied their line stats, but I can't imagine it's much better than that. And then with them on back-to-backs, missing 2 defensemen, it's hard not to like Nashville 1 here a lot. And then Nashville 2 with tourists back, same principle. You can probably get them, they're a good filler stack, and you're going to get them at low ownership if tourist goes, because it's a 5 o'clock start and people aren't going to be sitting around changing their lineups too much. So I do like Nashville 2 here as well. If tourist is in, you're going to get him at 1% ownership, I'll bet.
Yeah, and that's actually a line that I've liked. Turris, Fiala, Smith, more last year than this year. They always grade out as an okay value just because Smith and Fiala generate quite a few chances themselves, and then Turris is usually cheap. Between them, they all get power play time. I don't know. I mean, with the unknowns there, I don't know that I want to go to Nashville 2 with Turris in his first game back. And then I have nothing on the Arizona side. I think I X'd out Stepan and the Cousins line. Let me make sure so I'm not telling lies, but I X'd them out. So I just don't want any line going into Nashville. Even though they're cheap, I get it. Going into Nashville on the road back-to-back seems like just a smash spot for Nashville here. Yeah.
Are you what's your take on D? You in on Yossi tonight?
I am in on Yossi, but again, it's the Brent Burns. I just have Burns projected so much higher than any other player, any other defender that's over 6K, or any other defender. But he's just grading out as a better value, not only raw point play, but just way better value than any other defenseman for me as well. So.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. And then as far as goaltenders go, I'm just Rene. If you're playing cash, I would just lock in Rene. I don't know. He's surefire bet for a win tonight.
It's Aiden Hill starting?
Yes.
Oh,
for
okay.
the Coyotes.
We got that wrong then.
Oh no, Calvin Pickard. No, it's Pickard tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've seen both.
It doesn't matter. I don't think it doesn't matter for me, but just for the audience, should probably be on top of that. I don't know. So you've seen sources that say both?
It's Pickard.
It's Pickard?
Yeah.
Okay. Picard is starting. All right.
I think what it was last night they said Hill was expected to go, and then today changed to Picard.
Got it. Okay, Picard. Cool. Connaughton. He's the guy. The one Arizona guy we'll have.
Yes.
So we got there last night. Yeah, we got there last night with him. And he's just a guy who shoots a lot. When he's getting extended minutes, he's a guy that perfect for MME. If you need a $2,900 defenseman or $3K defenseman, he's the guy I'll put in there because he's not always. He doesn't have a perfect floor or anything, but I think he's got a 2.5 point floor just on shots on goal and block shots. If he's seeing even more minutes with Goligoski out, then even better.
Yeah, and he'll probably get power play 2 time as well. I'm just going to look up those power play stats right now just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure he'll get some. Yeah, he was on the power play last night, 20% clip. So with him and Oosterley, we're on that power play. Yeah, I like him a lot. Like he's probably my favorite punt defenseman of the night. Even though it's not a great matchup, he's still going to get 20+ minutes, and he has offensive upside. So
sweet. And then Rene is actually one of the other guys I like to spend up for. He is, I think, one of the best chances for a win here, and I think he's actually going to see okay volume. Nashville doesn't get they're not suffocating on defense as we've seen maybe in past years at home. So hopefully he sees 25, 30 shots here, and I think he's the best chance for a win tonight. Or one
25 shot, 1 goal.
Perfect.
Chalk it in.
That's what you're looking for. Yeah.
That's what we need.
And hopefully a bunch of Nashville full line goals. Nashville won.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to maybe the most fun game of the night, I think. We've got the Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets. 3.1 implied total for San Jose. 3.4 for the Jets. Martin Jones in net against Connor Hellebuck. First of all, news and notes, then we'll get into the good stuff.
So just that Brian Little is a game-time decision, so we kind of touched on that a little bit. One thing that I like to do, what I'm going to be doing tonight if I'm around at 5 or 5 Pacific, what is that, 8 Eastern? Just like both of the Nashville 2 and Winnipeg 2 lines are around 12,000 on DK and probably pretty similar priced on FanDuel. So you can kind of use those to your advantage if something happens unexpectedly or there's some line combination that we don't know about. For example, if Little's out, I don't know who would be centering that second line. I know you said you don't have a lot of interest in it, and it's not a great play in a vacuum, but it will also be less than 1% owned if Little's out, right? So definitely worth, I think, getting into some GPPs, especially with line A. And then Roslovic, who's scoring now, he's a machine. So that's my take on that one. And then should be pretty fun high event game.
Yeah, so they just don't generate enough for me at even strength. They kind of get caved Corsi wise, 42.2 Corsi for percentage. They got there last game. I don't remember off the top of my head if it was a power play thing or what, but I think
it was some of that.
Yeah, Line A has plummeted in my projections recently. Probably because of who he's playing with. Roslovic's got some decent results lately. He's cheap. It feels a little bit point chasey, and then San Jose doesn't really have a weak spot as far as lines go. Even if they go up against this third line, I don't think that's a great matchup for them, and bad numbers. So that's my thing with Winnipeg too. I do like this hurdle line a bunch for the Sharks. Just great numbers. I think they're going to see the better matchups. They're going to avoid Scheifele. I'm hoping. They've just been absurd at even strength, so the lack of power play correlation doesn't really hurt that much. I think some people will go to the Couture line, Couture, Pavelski, and Meyer. That's fair. There's a lot of talent there. They're around 18K, so I think it's an okay price. I am worried about their numbers, though. So far, they've been really bad defensively, and they're going to get a really strong line at even strength, the Scheifele line. So I just give the edge there to Winnipeg 1, full power play correlation, big total for the Jets. It seems like a really fun spot for the Jets 1 here. What do you think?
Yeah, they're going to be, I think they'll be one of the more popular lines in the night, but in a good spot. Burned everyone last time out a little bit anyways. So, definitely going back to them tonight. San Jose, they were giving it up a lot on the road earlier on in the season. I think they've improved quite a lot, but Winnipeg at home, their splits are ridiculous. So I've got no problem going with Winnipeg tonight. Yeah.
Boom. Koivu, Wenberg, and Joe Thornton. You cannot compare Johansson to them as far as shot attempts. Johansson is so much better offensively than those guys. Or so much more willing offensively than those guys. So.
Dude, yeah, for sure. Was that? I was right. Right, the San Jose at the beginning of the year was terrible on the road a while.
Yeah, they were.
So they've progressed a lot to the mean, I think, and they're kind of middle of the pack now.
I mean, they kind of just had a bad record too. They just weren't really playing well as a team.
They weren't gelling well. Yeah. So no Carlson tonight. Oh, that's the other note. Vlasic is back in. He's another punt play that I love. Super cheap. Probably going to see 20+ minutes tonight. First game back in a month, so maybe he's a little rusty, but that price point's really good for him.
Yep. All right, and then the highest exposed play of the night. I think Corsi was talking about it earlier today. Burns is going to be 40% probably in the 888, so that's a really good tournament. There's limited entries. You've got to make more optimal plays. In the $8 and anything lower than that, he might not get to 20. So I'm going to be 3, 4, maybe 5 times the field, depending on where he slots in here. He's not at home. He's priced up a little bit, but he's still not priced up enough. So I have about 75% Burns right now in my 100 lineups. So
damn.
Yep.
Played 30 minutes last game.
Yeah, and no Carlson. I mean, just cherry on top. There you go.
I love it. That's a great point. Like I think that's a smart move. I think the price will scare some people away tonight. Just that $7K price tag on DK is a lot, and he's on the road. So yeah, you're probably going to see him like 15 to 20%, I would guess.
Not enough. Yeah, Homer Cleese says not enough. 75%. I honestly, like, if I was hand building, I don't know, outside of like forcing in Colorado 1, or I think I even have some with Colorado 1 and with Boston 1 when I'm going super cheap. But like if I was hand building, I don't know how I don't end up with Burns in basically all my lineups tonight.
Yeah, that's fair point. I like it.
So
you got the advantage of just like, I don't think he's going to be super chalky. So even though he's popular, I don't think people like paying 7K for a defenseman.
I'm up to 100% Burns, says the guy who plays one lineup, Corsi. Yeah, that's not enough exposure to him. I'm trying to see how Hellebuck's been lately.
Good. He's been better.
He's been better.
Well, I mean, I don't know about like anything detailed, but
so he's still giving
actually
up goals.
No, he hasn't. He's just won. Sorry, he hasn't great save percentage wise, but
so whatever. Yeah, he's won 5 out of 6. It looks like, in like 7 out of 9, whatever, 8 out of 11. Yeah, he's giving up 3+ goals in like 70% of these games. So I don't know. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored here. Martin Jones is very bad, and I don't know. Like, Winnipeg 1, San Jose 2, and then as much Burns as I could possibly get is how I'm attacking this game.
I like it.
Am I missing anything here? Otherwise, we can get out of it.
No.
Good?
We're good.
All right, let's go to... How many games do we have left?
2 left.
2 left? All right, we're making good time. Yeah, perfect. Columbus and Colorado, we've got a 3.1 implied total for the Blue Jackets, 3.4 for the Avalanche. Sergei Bobrovsky going up against Philip Grubauer. Another one that should be, I think, pretty exciting. What do you see here, Nolan?
So let me pull this up here. Just that Colorado is back to their regular lines. And then we have another late decision with Boone Jenner possibly skating for Columbus. He did practice this morning, but he's day-to-day. So I know that Torts in his post-practice interview said he wasn't committing to any lines or saying anything about what the line combos would be. So, and like we know, Torts can just change them, willy-nilly all the time. So, I think if you're playing Columbus tonight, I think you're gonna have to wait for line rushes to definitely double check that half hour before game time. And then, Colorado 1 may be flying under the radar a little bit just because they've been broken up for 1-2 games now. So it's possible that people have kind of forgotten about them, but I'd still expect them to garner their fair share of ownership.
All right, let's see. Burns averaging 7.13 DK points in games Carlson hasn't played. Yeah. Give me the over on that.
That's amazing.
All right. Is Boone Jenner going to play is what I was going to ask.
I would have guessed that he is, but I don't think we'll have confirmation until game time.
Okay.
He said he felt good.
Got it. I'm reading a tweet 2 hours ago. John Tortorella plans to open versus Avs with a more of a balanced attack at forward. That suggests Monday's practice lines of Foligno, Dubois, Atkinson, Panarin, Wenberg, Bjorkstrand, and then I would assume it would be Jenner with what you're seeing on your screen, Duclair and Josh Anderson. So I think that's a really fun line, the Jenner line. If that's indeed a line, you just never know with Duclair if he's going to be in the doghouse or what. I think he played minutes in the teens last game, so things are looking up for him after playing like 4 seconds a few games ago. If all else fails, they'll go back to regular Columbus 1. I see. This is the thing. Like, I think they've been juggling a lot lately in game as well. So I'm kind of just off trying to figure out what these lines are actually going to be. I may just have less. I don't know. Well, I mean, I like pieces here.
Period. What's that?
I like pieces of Columbus here. It's always the conundrum with them. Like, I like Bjorkstrand. I like his price. I like Duclair's price and kind of his offensive game as well. I think Jenner and Anderson are both priced really well. In addition, like, Colorado commits a bunch of penalties. A lot of these guys get power play time. So I want exposure to Columbus. I just don't know exactly how I want to attack it. I'd really be interested, like I said, in this Jenner line if we knew it was going to be a thing. So, yeah, very good PP matchup. When Nemeth scores, I'll be sure to talk about Nemeth here in a minute. Can't forget about him on a 12-gamer. Let's see. You could just go with Columbus 1 if you wanted to do that and just throw Panarin in with Dubois and Atkinson, make that change on Fantasy Cruncher if you're doing that. Duclair might play 24 seconds again if he doesn't get the puck out. That is true. So be prepared for a 0 with Duclair at 2,900. All right.
What's your Colorado exposure here?
More than the field. At least that's how I'm thinking. Like around 15%, 12 to 15%, somewhere in there. I don't know if they're going to reach double digits just because they're so highly priced. We've got a ton of other good options in like the 18 to 20K range. And there's Burns tonight, there's Yossi, there's Letang. Like there's a bunch of top guys that people want to pay out for on defense. So the ownership's got to go somewhere, and it can't go to all these guys. So I think Colorado one's going to be a little bit underowned. Columbus hasn't been great defensively as of late.
Well, I think they've been good defensively, but their goaltending's been bad, would you say? Or like Bobrovsky's been terrible, but they're still like decent, and especially on the road, they've been really stingy in terms of scoring chances against.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if that's like if you're factoring in there just Bobrovsky's generally terrible play.
Yeah, maybe that's some of it.
Apparently he has a nagging groin injury, and
Bobrovsky does?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why, like, because he's a pretty athletic goalie, right? So
he can't move.
Yeah, that might be what's causing his weak play, which is interesting because that means like it could be a blow up spot if you're Colorado and he's not on his game, right?
Yeah. Homer Cleese asks an interesting question. Who do you think is higher owned, Boston 1 or Colorado 1?
Oh, Colorado 1 for sure.
You think?
I think it'll be like 2 or 3 times the ownership.
2 or 3 times? So
yeah, people don't like targeting the Islanders this year.
That's true. I mean, I think it's going to be somewhat close when you take in the discount.
You think so? How much is the discount?
Let's see. I've got it. I could just do the math, but
1,400.
1,400?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 22.7 to 21.3.
On DK.
That is a big difference.
2,700 on FanDuel.
Colorado.
Oh no, sorry. Boston 1's way more expensive on FanDuel.
Okay. Corsi says Colorado 1. Who do you think, Steve? While we're on this subject.
What do you think? Maybe we're off here.
But yeah, I don't know. I think they're both similar as far as value goes. You can just jam a bunch of lines that are going to project out better with Boston 1. So that's why I was thinking maybe Boston 1. But I don't think you're going to have, like, are either of them going to see 12% ownership? I don't think so. Maybe not even 10.
Really? So I think Colorado's going to be like 12 to 15 and Boston will be like 5 to 7 maybe. Okay. 7 to 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Washington 1's going to be 20.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. They're going to be around, like I said, that 12 to 15% range, both of them, for me. So I'm hoping I get over the field on at least one of them in a significant way. But yeah, they're like I have Colorado 1 projected better by almost a point, and it's just a matter of does that extra $1,400 make a huge difference to you? So
yeah.
What else here? Like, do you want to give any takes on Columbus' side?
On Columbus? No, I'm not going to roster them, I think. I'm just going to... I'll if I do, it'll be like... What I'll do is I'll late swap to Columbus with some, like, lacking teams or some teams that I think I'm drawing dead for, just so I can get... Once the line rushes come out, then we'll know what's going on. But it's a little too unpredictable for me to know what their lines are actually going to be.
Boston 1 probably very low owned. Depends on the stakes. Yeah, that's probably true.
Depends on the stakes for sure. Like whenever I say my guesses for ownership, I'm usually like low dollar GPP guesses, not
Yeah.
high stakes.
That's what I'm usually talking about as well. But
Yeah.
like the $8. Everyone on PP1 is Jenner, Anderson, Jones. Everyone on PP1 and Jenner, Anderson, Jones. All right. Are we ready to move on from this one?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to talk about. I want to target Columbus, so maybe I'll give my final takes in chat when we get closer to lock here. I like Tyson Barrie actually a lot. He's going to be probably my second guy behind Burns. I just like that value for 5,500, especially when I'm playing Colorado 1. So a lot of that's tied into Colorado 1.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Chicago and Edmonton. We have a 3.1 implied total for the Blackhawks, 3.4 for the Oilers. Cam Ward expected to go against Cam Talbot, I believe. It is not confirmed just yet. Talk about these Edmonton lines.
They're the same as are they the same as last game?
I
thought
yeah,
they were.
Lucic with McDavid and Ratty.
Ratty, yeah. All the same as last game. Just that Clefbaum's back. He's not going to be on the power play 1. He'll be on the power play 2. We don't really have any power play correlation except for like Draisaitl and Chiasson. And on the other side, I think everything stays the same for the Blackhawks. They're scoring goals. I don't know how well they're playing, but they're also giving up a lot of chances recently. So, well, just all season, but especially bad recently. So I know you're on Edmonton 1.
Yeah. So it's like I wrote in the article, it's tough to click on both Lucic and Ratty, but they've played well in their first couple games together, and they've stuck together, which is more important. Mm-hmm. Like McDavid could make the corpse of Milan Lucic look viable for 2,800. We've seen what he can do with Ratty. Like he's had some success with Ratty, and if they're gonna stick together, which is by no means a lock, but they have in their first couple games, so that's a little bit encouraging. You may not need to play both of them. You could go Draisaitl with McDavid and Ratty. That's something I'm messing around with. Or you could play them all, and you could jam in McDavid with a really good top line and good defenseman as well. So, I love the spot for McDavid. I don't love his line mates, but I'm playing them. So
fair.
And then Darnell Nurse as well.
And Nurse, yeah. Good one-off too for cash. Would you have some McDavid or? Yeah,
I would have him for sure.
Yeah.
I don't play cash.
Yeah,
but
I wasn't getting to a lot of Edmonton 1, but I think you make a pretty compelling case. Like if he can, the price points on Ratty and Lucic are ridiculous. So if you can, like that whole line has just become super cheap. And if they're playing well and going up and they get a plus matchup, it's probably worth it.
Yeah. Not bad numbers considering matchups with Montreal 1 and Couturier. Yeah, that's what I saw too. So, like they've held their own. It's just McDavid carrying everyone on his back. So, like they keep doing this thing where they're splitting up Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and McDavid, playing them all at center. Like, that's fine, because McDavid's just gonna be good regardless. I don't know. I wouldn't expect that line to be very good defensively. So if you wanted to go with Taves and Kane and Kajula, saw them have a big performance. But that line has terrible underlying numbers, especially on the defensive end. So I give the edge to McDavid, even playing with 2 terrible line mates. And hopefully he's the one scoring the goals, or maybe you get lucky and you get a Ratty or a Lucic goal or both. And you're just making bank because neither of those 2 guys are going to come even half the ownership as McDavid will have.
Yeah, not even half, I think. Yeah, maybe like even a third.
Mm-hmm. Lucic especially, I don't think people are going to play Lucic. So
no.
He's going to be the guy that gets left off in the event that I go with Draisaitl. Like just go power play 1, Draisaitl, McDavid, maybe throw in Ratty, and then Darnell Nurse.
Yeah. I like it.
Kajula Revenge. There we go. I was waiting for someone to mention it.
Revenge game, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have any of the other side of this? Chicago 1?
Like, Chicago 1 would be the line I would go with, but I don't think I got to any of them. I will check on that right now.
Are you wearing an Oilers shirt
I'm wearing an Oilers shirt right now. It was not intentional.
Right.
But, Yeah, good old fade and pray for this game for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two bad teams, right? So if this was going to be chalk, then I may have a little bit different of an opinion, but I don't think, especially McDavid's line mates are not going to be chalk. Draisaitl's not going to be chalk. So I feel like even if McDavid's 20%, I'm getting somewhat of an edge on the field by playing some of these lesser players with him that correlate to him.
Yeah.
Do you like Chicago?
I don't know. I don't. But I'm like, I just have a really, I never get them right. You know, it's just one of those teams, like, I don't know why. I think it started when there were like two lines and you never knew which line to go to. And now it's like, now that they've been put together, like they seem to be overachieving. So I'm kind of like fading them, but maybe they're not a bad play because Edmonton's not exactly amazing defensively. So
they're not. I don't know. Like Chicago was just so bad on the road defensively. So that was my main focus was just hammering Edmonton, hammering McDavid and Nurse. But I just think they're going to be overowned. Like people will see Edmonton 1. They'll see McDavid with bad line mates. They'll see no one to be worried about on Edmonton, and they'll just hammer them. Taves and Kane together, two big names. I don't know. I'd rather go elsewhere with my 17 plus K.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, or almost 18K
Absolutely.
actually. Yeah. All right. Anything else in chat? Yeah. Hit the like button. Thanks, Tamar Green.
Yeah.
That's.
Do we have some giveaway today too? Is that right, or is that
we do?
Chat? Just saw something in the channel.
Not that I know of.
All right.
Jake, your forward's gonna put up 5 combined. 5 goals probably on all my teams. Chicago PK is so bad. There you go. I mean, I'd probably take 5 combined from Lucic and Ratty. If McDavid's gonna get me 10, then sure. Or 15. What else do we got here? Ward Vezina performance. Yeah, he's had a couple big ones this year. The Blackhawks are a fraud. They're not this good.
Yeah.
They're winning games. I think Homer Cleese just said it in chat. Their expected goals compared to their goals for is outrageous right now.
Yeah.
They're getting it all on the power play. It is not anywhere near sustainable. They should try to lose games, but Kane is just kind of putting everything in the back of the net. So it's not going to keep up. I think ownership's going to follow them, and I'd rather just have a bunch of Edmonton than worry about Chicago here.
Yeah, I agree. It's a dangerous fade, but I'm going to be fading for sure.
Yeah, I got to fade somewhere on a 12-game slate, I suppose. So,
right.
You want to kind of just sum up everything that we've got, just maybe a couple lines that you really like?
Yeah, so I like your take on Washington too. I think this, from a macro standpoint, the strategy on this slate is going to be to figure out what's going on with all of these game time decisions, because there's going to be some advantage to doing that and like sticking around your lineups to find these unique combinations or to find the guys that are playing that are going to get low owned. Because in large GPPs, you can get such a huge advantage for like a decently projected line that's just going to get no ownership. And then as far as other cheap lines, I think your Montreal take is pretty good. I don't mind like Nashville 2, Montreal 3, and maybe St. Louis 1 is the kind of sneaky contrarian play.
Yep. So at the top for me, it's Colorado 1 and Boston 1. I'm going to basically split my exposure there, just go with whatever ownership gives me as far as being overweight, underweight. I do like Winnipeg 1's even strength matchup a ton. They'd probably be in that next tier with Nashville 1. So those are like my clear top 4. Going down to like this mid-tier, St. Louis 1 jumps off for me. I think they have a really good even strength matchup against the Barkov line or the Trocheck line, whether they go up against either. I like the Stalzucker-Granlund reunited. San Jose 2 has a favorable even strength matchup, I think. And then McDavid. I'm playing McDavid and Ty Ratty and maybe even Milan Lucic tonight. Montreal 3 also. Yeah, got to reiterate that. They're going to be my most popular filler tonight. Really, really like the spot for them. So I think that's it. We did about
a long show.
an hour 15. And hopefully we covered everything. If we did not, feel free to hit us up in Slack.
Well, I'm assuming they're a little late. I'm going to drop them right now.
Sweet. We've got the line change article, so brush up on everything that you're going to need to know. We'll be following the news in chat. tons of hockey on the slate tonight.
2 game slate tomorrow. You just solo show?
Yeah, it would probably just be me just blabbering on for about 40 minutes. Give us a like if you did enjoy this. We appreciate the likes. They do help us out. Good luck tonight, guys. And we will catch you back, both of us, on Thursday.